Okay, today I'll talk about the hero's journey, also called the monomyth. There isn't really just one myth, but this is what it's called. If you watch many Hollywood movies, you'll probably encounter this because Hollywood loves this kind of story. Um, This language came from Joseph Campbell's book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. So even though there are thousands of heroes, maybe more, they all have things in common, according to Joseph Campbell, who studied mythology. And he identified a number of things that heroes tended to have in common. We call this the hero's journey. Some people have added steps, so here's one that he didn't list that some people say that a hero often has a miraculous birth or conception, or he's chosen early on. Remember the Matrix, Neo is the chosen one, the one. So you may remember other chosen ones from other parts of our culture. Let's see. Well, a hero is called away from normal life and into a world of adventure. And often the hero refuses the call. There's an opportunity for him to leave his comfortable home, like the Hobbit, but he doesn't want to. But he has to. So, in the course of this, refusal doesn't work. The hero, even though the hero tries not to go, he ends up having to go. This doesn't happen in every myth. Some of these steps can be left off. Often the hero will meet a god, a mentor, a magical helper. Perhaps you recognize this magical helper. And there is one stage called crossing the threshold. The threshold is the doorway to your house. So when you leave your house, you step over the threshold into the outside world. So inside the house, everything is safe. Outside, it's a dangerous, unknown world. It might not be the threshold to your house. It might be the gateway of your village. This happens in The Hobbit, when Bilbo says, "Beyond this point is a place I've never been before. If we go any further, I'll be in an unknown place." But he keeps going. Then there's something called the belly of the whale. What is this about? Whales, genius. In the Bible, there's a story of a prophet, Jonah, who is swallowed by a big fish. People mostly think it was a whale, although it doesn't say that. But he lives. 3 days later, the whale spits him out on shore, and he's alive. Many heroes go through something like that, where they are, they almost die, they are in trouble, but they don't die. So, something like this happens often to the hero while leaving the home. And he becomes a different person afterwards. So this is all related to departure. Then comes an initiation. Initiation means when you are welcomed or into the next stage. Often it means when a boy becomes a man or a girl becomes a woman. Then they have a ritual, a special ritual. Graduations are a kind of initiation. Sometimes clubs have initiations where they do funny things to you. Maybe they make you run around in your underwear and sing songs. That's a kind of fun initiation. Sometimes they do dangerous, bad things involving drinking, spanking, and other things like that. But initiations were used in ancient religions. If you joined a religion, you would be initiated. So before you're initiated, you're an outsider. Afterwards, you're an insider. So Christians are baptized, put under the water, and then they're a Christian. So that's a kind of initiation. Well, here's the hero's initiations. It's kind of complicated. Bad things have to happen. The hero has to fight. Otherwise, it's not much of a story. In mythology, often they happen in threes. Why three? The Joker, Batman's enemy, talks about this in one of the comic book called The Killing Joke. He's talking about why do jokes have threes? Well, the first thing sets the situation up so you know what's talking about. And then the second repetition establishes a pattern. So now you expect the third to be like that. But the third is different. That's what makes the joke. That's why jokes have three things. Anyway, 3 is a nice round number, and we often see 3 obstacles that the hero has to overcome. The next time you watch a Hollywood movie, Aquaman is coming out in a couple of weeks. See how many things the hero has to fight. You can also watch to see, is there an older guide that tells him, what to do? Does he cross the threshold? See how many things they put in Aquaman that are like this. So, meeting with the goddess. Why a goddess? I don't know, but it's something that happens in many myths. A hero meets a powerful woman. It could be the Virgin Mary, it could be his mother, it could be anyone. Now, it doesn't happen in every myth, but it often happens, and so it's in the list. The hero meets a goddess, and the goddess gives him something that he will use later. So, a powerful female figure. It doesn't really have to be a goddess. It might be a queen. This happened in Lord of the Rings with the elf queen. But women, since we often, the heroes are assumed to be male. Women can be temptresses. They tempt the hero not to go on. This happens a lot in the Journey to the West, Shioji. Right? There are evil female goddesses that try to keep the heroes from continuing. In the Iliad, there is a goddess who tempts Odysseus to settle down and not leave, but he's supposed to go home. So, atonement with the Father. Atonement means you reconcile. You have an argument with the Father. It doesn't have to really be your father. It could be a god, some powerful being. There's psychology behind this. But somehow you're fighting with them, but then you become reconciled. This happened in Star Wars. Shinji Dajan, right? Spoilers. Luke, the hero, finds out that the bad guy is his father and reconciles with him by the end of the 3 movies. That's because George Lucas read Joseph Campbell and used that for ideas about what to put in the movies. Apotheosis means becoming a god, literally. when you finally understand the thing that you were supposed to have understood. It's not enough for the hero just to defeat the bad guy. The hero has to understand himself, or some crucial thing. He has to learn the lesson that his quest was about. And then the ultimate boon, a boon is some good thing. That's when he gets the goal of his quest. So the King Arthur and his knights, 4 of the knights reached the Holy Grail, which is the object of their quest. So this is the plot. The first departure sets up the situation, and then this is the plot. And now we have to have the resolution. The hero returns. The hero might not want to return. The hero might want to stay. But they generally do. There is often a magical flight with the thing that the hero had to get. This happened in Lord of the Rings. Remember? After Frodo threw the ring into the volcano, eagles came and took them back home. So they didn't have to walk all the way back. So, magical flight. Rescue. Saying that story was also a rescue. In many old movies, the cavalry come over the hill and save the hero at the end. So, crossing of the threshold. Remember the threshold. This time it's from the other direction. The hero comes back home. But the hero has changed. He's not the same person he was when he left. Often he is the master of 2 worlds. So Aquaman will probably end up being the master of the ocean and the land. He's not the only one. Luke, he's learned this other world. Luke Skywalker from Star Wars has discovered the other world of the galactic war, and he's become a hero now. But they can't always go home. And this is an interesting one. Freedom. Freedom to live. Not to be afraid of death. Of course, everyone has to die, but to be content with your life. That's the end of the hero's journey. Not every not every hero is going to have every item in this journey. And in particular, Hollywood movies are often designed to have sequels. So if there's a sequel, if it's a movie about a superhero, for instance, there's probably a beginning and a middle, but they don't really want to have an end. The last Batman movie did have an ending, and that was unusual. Of course, the next Batman movie will just ignore it. So, he makes too much money to end the story. But even though Joseph Campbell based these things on mythology from the ancient world, these ideas are still with us today. And popular movies and entertainment, and Joseph Campbell's idea is that they reflect our own lives. So we are the hero who go out into the world and find our way, and eventually, hopefully, we find what we're looking for and become content. So that's the hero's journey. It's our journey.